Call the October 18th school board meeting to order. First on the agenda tonight will be the Pledge of Allegiance, led by board member Lisa Moore.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we'll have a moment of silence. We'd like to remember the family of a longtime coach and administrator of Kittrell Elementary, Mr. Johnny Jones. Okay. Approval of the agenda. Motion? So moved. Thank you, Mr. Young. Second?
Second.
Ms. Moore, thank you. Okay. Approval of the consent agenda. I do have two names Mr. Tackett wanted to add to the consent agenda. John Supay, Central Magnet Swimming, and Billy Brewster, Browns Chapel Elementary for archery. If that's okay, we'll just have them added to it. Approval of the consent agenda. Have a motion? Thank you. Ms. Sharp? Second?
Second.
Mr. Young? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Have any visitors? Okay, the best part of the program, Spurlock's recognition.
Absolutely. We've got recognizing National Merit semifinalists tonight. I want to say that this is a great accomplishment on their part, these 14 individuals. When we call your name, if you would, if you'll come up and line across the board facing the audience. But of about 1.4 million entrants, there's 16,000 that are chosen. So these are in the 99th percentile. So these are it's very impressive for our system. It's impressive for their individual schools. Let's start out with Blackman High School. Keegan Hemsley. Central Magnet School. Zachary Allgood. Evan Anderson. Caleb Kennard. Anad Gallagher. Russell Harper. Madeline Mansfield. Matthew Rigsby. Megan Scott. Simran Srivastava. Camille Warren. Jack Zhao. Riverdale High School, Caroline Farrell. Siegel High School, Richard LaLance. All right, let's give these individuals a hand of applause. All right, we got some more recognition.
That's good.
All right, Rutherford County FFA chapter. 9 Rutherford County High School students representing 2 area high schools have been recognized and will represent Tennessee at the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana, for national honors in the areas of dairy handlers activity as well as livestock and horse evaluation. The Rutherford County FFA chapter members are from Eagleville, Lane Hulshoff. Lane is a junior at Eagleville School. He was recognized as a dairy handler activity state winner in this area at the Tennessee State Fair held earlier this month in Nashville, Tennessee. From Oakland High School, FFA, we have the following: Caitlin Taylor, Ella Hayes, Jacob Meyer, Jacob Tipton, Maddie Hawkins, Gracie Anderson, Savannah Scott, Jorge Segovia. The above Oakland High School FFA students will represent Tennessee at the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana, with 2 state-winning teams, livestock evaluation and horse evaluation. Let's give them a round of applause, please.
Ready for the reward school.
All right, reward schools recipients. We had 14 schools in our district that were named reward schools, and these were identified through the achievement and growth of all students and even the subgroups. We're very excited to announce these individual schools along with their principals, and if they would come up just like the kids did, we'd appreciate that. Get my list here. All right, starting with Barfield Elementary, Mrs. Judy Goodwin. Blackman Elementary, Mrs. Cynthia Ford. Blackman Middle School, Dr. Amy Conifee Marlin. Rounds Chapel Elementary School, Mrs. Kelly Goostree. Cedar Grove Elementary, Dr. Paige George. Central Magnet School, Dr. John Ash. Eagleville School, Mr. Bill Tollett. John Coleman Elementary, Mrs. Christy Brown. Las Casas Elementary, Mrs. Tamara Blair. McFadden School of Excellence, Dr. Clark Blair. Rockville Middle School, Mr. Fred Barlow. Smyrna Elementary, Mrs. Amy Patton. Stewart's Creek Middle School, Mr. Murray could not be here tonight, but they're being represented by the assistant principal, Mr. Keith Young. Thurman Francis Arts Academy Magnet School for the Arts, Mr. McCann could not be here tonight. The principal, they are being represented by their RTI coach, Mrs. Melinda Tuttle. Excuse me, Stewart's Creek Elementary. I missed someone. I knew I would do this, but I'm going to make up for it. Mrs. Stewart's Creek Elementary, Mrs. Tina Turner. All right, let's give them a hand. Thank you. I'm sure that every one of the principals would tell you that this is a team effort on the part of their faculty and their staff, and obviously their students. We're very proud of what they're doing in these classrooms. You know, they're making a difference. You know, our mission in Rutherford County Schools is to allow today's students to grasp tomorrow's opportunities. In order to do that, we have to have effective teachers and effective administrators and effective educational assistants that are in our schools. And we're very thankful that we're being supported by our board, and we're thankful we've been supported by our parents.
I think next year we'd like to see 15 more up here, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, number 8, historic marker at Holloway High School.
Recommend motion to approve the African American Heritage Society of Rutherford County's request to place a historic marker at original Holloway High School pending state approval.
So moved.
Okay. Any questions before we vote? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Facilities.
Central Magnet School Parking Addition, AIA change order document. Jarrett Builders Incorporated has submitted an additive change order in the amount of $16,539.14 for additional scope work to be performed in addition to the parking lot construction. The additional work consists of landscaping the area around the parking lot, adding gator bags to water trees, and installation of water line within 300 feet of the parking area for maintenance of plant materials as per the Murfreesboro City codes. This would change the contract amount for the construction of the Central Magnet School parking lot addition from $242,000 to $258,539.14. Motion to approve the additive change order submitted by Jarrett Builders, Inc. for $16,539.14 for additional work at the Central Magnet School. This will increase the final contract amount from $242,000 to $258,539.14 as presented.
Any questions? Motion? So moved. Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Second?
Second.
Mr. Young, thank you. Those in favor of motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, Central Magnet softball and baseball project.
Central Magnet School proposed softball and baseball project. Enclosed, you will find a proposed project involving Central Magnet School's softball and baseball programs. The staff at Central Magnet is requesting to install a new batting cage area, a pitcher and a catching area, and dirt infield practice area. These areas are 3 separate projects at no cost to the board. Funding for the first 2 projects is available now, along with the material and labor donation from the MTSU Concrete Management Program. The Engineering and Construction Department has reviewed these requests and locations and find them acceptable. These requests will need approval from the City of Murfreesboro Historical Zoning Board. Motion to approve all 3 requests from Central Magnet Baseball and Softball Program at no cost to the board, subject to the review and approval of the City of Murfreesboro Historical Zoning Board as presented.
Any questions? Need a motion to approve. Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Second?
Second.
Mr. Young. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Rocky Fork Middle baseball dugouts.
Rocky Fork Middle School baseball dugouts. The staff at Rocky Fork Middle School is requesting to begin construction of concrete block dugouts with one to have storage facility as part of its structure. This request is of similar construction and design of other middle school dugouts. This request is at no cost to the school board. Engineering and construction has reviewed this request and finds it acceptable. Rocky Fork Middle will be requesting the same dugouts for softball at a later date. Motion to approve Rocky Fork Middle School's request to build concrete block baseball dugouts with attached storage at no cost to the board as presented.
Questions? Need a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Financial matters.
Financial matters. A building program budget amendment, Fund 189. Building program amendment cleans up the line items within existing projects that are found in the yellow columns and moves funds from the completed or nearly completed projects to the other projects that are found in the blue columns. No new funds are being requested. Line item amendments within the projects. Oakland Middle Annex, $2,090,825. Rocky Fork Elementary, $5,690,804. David Urey Addition, $29,820. Smyrna Middle renovation, $159,095. Rockville High School, $7,055,919. Siegel High School, $323,000. Siegel High Addition, $323,000. Eagleville New Highway 99 entry, $9,700 for a grand total of $15,359,163. The large amendments primarily move budget construction dollars to site development. When a new project is approved, the construction dollars include both the construction contract and the site development. The amount to charge to the site development is uncertain until the contract has been awarded and we have worked with the architect and the contractor. We combine these two pieces initially and amend when we have a good idea of the amount. Existing funds, completed projects to other projects. Rocky Fork Middle, $505,816. David Urey Addition, $59,198. Smyrna Middle renovation, $70,474. Total existing funds to other projects, $635,488. Projects receiving existing funds. Rocky Fork Elementary, $287,333. Siegel High Addition, $11,419. Rock Springs Elementary Addition, $10,944. New secondary project, $325,792. Total projects receiving existing funds, $635,488. At Rocky Fork Elementary, we had an issue change order for up to $1,300,000 due to adverse soil conditions. The R.G. Anderson bid was $1,780,000 under the second lowest bidder. We thought it would be prudent to use the existing elementary funds from Rocky Fork Middle to cover part of this cost. It's still early in the project, but we are hoping to cover much of this additional cost within the existing budget. Motion to amend $15,359,163 in line item adjustments within already budgeted construction projects to amend $505,816 from the Rocky Fork Middle project, $59,198 from the David Urey Addition, and $70,474 from the Smyrna Middle Addition to the following projects, with the total being $635,488 as presented. Rocky Fork Elementary, $287,333. Siegel High Addition, $11,419. Rock Springs Elementary Addition, $10,944. New Secondary Project, $325,792.
Any questions?
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Need a second?
Second.
Ms. Moore, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. New and revised policies.
All right, since we've read these already, we're going to make a motion to approve policy 1.701, policy 3.212, policy 3.405, policy 4.600, policy 4.602, policy 4.608, policy 5.106, policy 5.118, policy 5.203, policy 5.302, policy 5.305, policy 6.200, policy 6.309, policy 6.313, and policy 6.314 as recommended by the Policy Committee on the first reading as presented.
Okay. Need a motion to approve first reading. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Second?
Second.
Johnson. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Insurance update.
Mr. Sam Vig and I do not have any updates from Tuesday night.
Thank you. Director's update.
Just follow up, we got a Town Hall Talks meeting at Smyrna High School at 5:30 on Monday. We encourage everyone to come out. It will not be a zoning meeting, but it will be some informative information about our district, and we want our parents to come out and our constituents to come out so that we can inform you of everything. Also, I'd like to add that the ACT will be released here soon. We're getting, it's not final yet. I can't give out any information, but I'm confident enough to tell you that it's an improvement. That's all I can tell you. It's released.
That it?
That's it.
Okay, Ms. Moore, Tennessee Legislative Network.
Well, I think right now everybody is pretty focused on the upcoming election, so really nothing new from the legislative standpoint to report this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Hodge.
I got with Ben Torres down at TSDA, and he and I swapped some information back and thoughts, I guess. Really about and hopefully he's got me on the mailing list in SDA now as far as what their updates are, but a lot of what I found is the latest thing was they got Secretary of Education DeVos. She's got a Rethink Schools tour going on to where they're still trying to figure out why students are leaving school when they leave school, why they're being unprepared still. I just thinking about it, it's somewhat the way I look at it is when I was doing what Ms. Moore's doing with the state end of it. They're too concerned, and I mean, some of the articles I read on her, she's still concerned finding out good things about charter schools. But I think so much of it's just like this Rethink Schools, and they're blaming. I think the real problem is fix the problem, and same way with the state. The problem, and the way to fix the problem is not to make charter schools and vouchers and all that stuff. Get somebody in office that knows what they're doing. And I think that's a lot of what we have here going on. But it's sort of aggravating when you sit here and read some of this stuff. Also, in SBA, they met with U.S. Department of Agriculture on a roundtable, and a lot of the discussion is the foods in schools, about going back to the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act 2010. As far as I'm concerned, if you've ate in schools, that's when things went downhill, starting right then. But talking about the requirements that the schools are having to deal with, it's just a burden on the schools. So, you know, we're trying to work through that, but you know, hopefully this time next meeting, I'll have a little bit more clear information on everything. So,
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Okay, general discussion by the board.
I'd like to bring up one thing, and I'd like to see you, as chairman, if you could possibly, I'd be, and I'm not interested in being on the committee, but I'd like to see you form a, if you want to say, our own insurance committee. And by that, I mean, I know we've got a couple board members here that have got insurance backgrounds that I could see them participating in it. Naturally, our two reps we got, but I'd also like to have, or I'd like to see you have some representatives from the schools in, you know, the different classifications, okay? Not just classified people, you can have certified if you want to, but I'm talking about EA, you know, custodial part, where they have some kind of input, okay? Now, the input would be to this committee, but I guess I want to feel comfortable that once this committee meets, and they come up with ideas, ways, and, or from a school system standpoint, they can give it to our Mr. Sandig and Dr. Anthony to take back and hopefully relay back to that committee. You know, right now, I don't know, you know, I don't know if y'all, you correct me, I don't know if you're going to these meetings or just telling them what y'all think. I mean, I don't give you any feedback. Does that make sense? I'd rather have something from the school system here giving you feedback to feedback to the committee. Does that, I mean, and I think with the board members that've got insurance backgrounds here, I think they could probably give some questions to ask the committee. I still think it's a crying shame that, you know, we've got 70% of the insurance on the thing, and I know we may not get any more members on here, but I think we can ask the right questions to try to get some answers. You know, I don't know if the board's in favor of that or not, but I'd like to see the chairman look into it if the board thinks it's a good idea.
Okay. Any other comments on that?
Just kind of second Mr. Hodges' comments and opinions that, you know, and of course we talked about this in a lot more detail at our work session the other night, but Mr. Hodges, thank you for bringing it back up, because I think there's no question, based on all the conversations that we've had, that the school system needs to have more representation at that committee, and working towards that, I think forming our own committee with board members is a great idea. I'd be happy to serve.
Well, I also think that if we had some input from teachers and principals and EAs, that it might show the commission and that we were interested in insurance more than just what we're paying. And if everyone's in favor of that, I'll be glad to get Mr. Young and I'll get together and decide how we want to set up a committee for it. That seems agreeable with everybody. Okay. We'll do that then. Anything else for general discussion?
Mr. Chairman. I know Trey Lee and Jason Everett's been meeting with our bus drivers and discussing some of their concerns and issues. And if they could, I would like to get some feedback to the board as far as what kind of findings they're finding in those meetings.
We've had 2 meetings with the bus driver committee to date. The first meeting was really just good dialogue, letting them know that we are interested. We are here to listen to their concerns because they're part of the team as well. The last meeting, Mr. Young and Ms. Johnson attended, and I think we had, the bus drivers were more open. They came prepared at Mr. Everett's request. They talked to other bus drivers, and they came back with some concerns. Kind of went around the room, and I won't bore you with the hour-and-a-half or 2-hour meeting, but it was very informative, and I'm just going to touch on 2 or 3 items that they brought up to give everybody some examples of the things that they brought to us and that they're looking for some assistance on. One of the concerns was consistent support for their write-ups. You know, they say that sometimes they get different support at different schools, and they wanted to see if we could come up with some way that kind of made it a little more uniform. So that was one of the requests. One of the main things that came out was that they have a request for direct deposit for their checks. Presently and in the past, they've always had to come up here to pick up their check. Well, they're either doing it after their route or they're doing it in between. Some of them have other occupations that they go to. One of the things that really came out is a lot of our special ed bus driver contractors, they do not only just deliver children in the morning and in the afternoon, they're actually running routes during the day, taking them maybe back. They're only there for a few hours, and those contractors, on the days that they get paid, have to cancel those trips or tell the parents they need to reschedule so that they can actually come up here and pick up their check that day. That's unfortunately not something that we control. It's something that the county itself controls, and the county presently does not do direct deposit for anybody that's considered a contractor. They only do them for employees only. So it not only brings up to light the school bus drivers, which there's 200 and something contractors out there, so they have to come up here, which means that that entire day, our entire transportation department is taken up with giving out checks. Not only that, it also affects our contractors that work for us, not our general contractors that are working on schools, but it also, any other contractor. We have numerous small contractors that do flooring, ceilings, all these kind of things. It's not available to them at all. So their only choice is to go to the courthouse and pick up their check when it's ready, or they put it in the mail. So we did explain to them that we would voice our opinion, try and get something changed, but it's not really something that we control. We had a discussion on 911. How the bus drivers do they have the discretion to call that, or they need to call here first, things like that. One of the other things that came out, we have trouble with communication with the radios throughout the county, and that's not just an us issue, that's a county issue as well. EMS has the same problem. Mr. Everett met last month with EMS and Motorola and the Sheriff's Department. We're all dealing with this issue, and we're trying to get with Motorola to see what our options are, whether we need to build another tower at Tiger Hill, bring another tower into town. Those kind of things are somewhat out of our control, but they do affect us, and they do have us in the pipeline now. And one of the other things that the other 2 main items that came up is the bus drivers were wondering if they could get permission to do small advertising on their buses, make extra income. And when that conversation came up, it led into, well, why are you looking for additional income to put advertising on your buses? And it came to light that per contract, the bus increase is 2% a year, while their expenditures are raising it 8 to 10% a year. They're falling further and further behind, and like everybody else, looking for some additional help on funding for their business. So that's kind of the main things that came out. There were some other items that came out, and there's some other questions that we can ask her. Mr. Everett's here. He'll try to fill in what I don't know, but that's kind of where we got to, and they're going back and talking to their buses. I would hope that the two members that were there, I think this meeting was, they feel a lot more comfortable now. They do feel like we are listening, and that we are taking their concerns serious.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sandvik, got a question. Is there any state law that you know of that we can't do a direct deposit for bus drivers?
No, it's probably a limitation of the accounts payable system. I asked that question. We went through a conversion earlier in the year, and I asked if with that conversion that was a possibility. I just re-asked that question. At that point, it was not, but we were new on the new system. So, yeah.
How long, when a bus driver gets a contract, how long is that good for? Do they quit? Or do we fire them?
Well, as long as we renew the contract.
Normally, is that year to year, 5 years?
4.
4? All right. Anything else from the board? Okay, nothing else, we'll be adjourned.